Welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. That's right, your resource right here in Santa Clarita, helping you every single week with the best guests we can find and the most up-to-date information regarding real estate, finances, and today, something that we all have to deal with. We all, unfortunately, one time in our life, are going to have to deal with it in our family or someone in our family that's aging.
Yeah.
Aging. And we're not talking about wrinkles. We're talking about senior assisted living. I mean, what do I do in case, you hear about Alzheimer's, a broken hip? I mean, these are just your facts of life. And unfortunately, more and more people are having to deal with Alzheimer's than ever. It's almost an epidemic. And we have somebody here that really cares. And we know him personally. We know him and his wife. We've known for years. They're just two of the most outstanding people we know. Scott Cohen is back in the house today to share with us how he can help you through the steps, because these are incredibly important steps, are they not, Gino?
They are, and one of the things I have to commend you on, and I'm just sitting here, and I'm not usually very quiet, but
That's
I have.
true. That's true.
It's not easy to silence me, but I've just been sitting here listening because it's all brand new. It's all brand new to us. I had no clue all this is going on kind of behind the scenes. It feels like it's one of those things nobody wants to talk about, but it is a reality.
It is a reality, and talking about it is so important. The community involvement is phenomenal, and meaning there are many outreach programs for family members to go to. So, for example, you were mentioning Alzheimer's as an epidemic. Mm-hmm. It is an epidemic. They know what the cure is, but they're actually at UC Irvine is where all the discoveries are coming out for memory care. And they know the process of Alzheimer's, of the calcification in your brain. Think of it like a light bulb. Light bulb and a filament. It breaks. No more
light.
Signal transduction.
Right.
Okay? No more firing. In Alzheimer's and different forms of dementia, Alzheimer's is a form of dementia, like Parkinson's is, or Lewy body dementia, where they can't walk because of this. So you have a calcification in the brain. There's a buildup. It's not firing. You're not getting nerve-to-nerve firing. They now don't remember. Their transmission fluid starts to drop. That's called acetylcholine. That drops. They can't remember anything, short-term especially. So there are many signs that I could show you guys later. I'll give you guys the right.
What's comforting to know is Gino. I mean, look how much Scott Cohen knows about Alzheimer's, because he actually wants to know what you're dealing with out there. I mean, he needs to understand it, because even if you go to a doctor or go to an assisted care or a nursing facility, whatever range, and that's what Scott helps you with, he knows what questions to ask. He knows what facilities can help with memory care. Absolutely. It's a big difference of going from one to another, whether they even have a memory care department.
Correct.
Okay.
In fact, it's special licensing, okay? And even a nursing facility has special licensing. They cannot take someone with, something beyond mild cognitive impairment, which is a natural part of aging. We all experience mild cognitive impairment.
I tell Don that all the time. I'm like, dude, you don't remember?
My wife says the same thing.
Yeah, so we're experiencing it really throughout our lives, but it's a natural part of aging. And then we get to a certain point where the buildup happens. It's almost like cholesterol, but in the brain. Okay. All right.
Well, but and this is super interesting learning about this, but I want to make sure, because we have about 8 minutes left, I want to make sure that we touch on the areas that you help people through, because we haven't really gone into there. I mean, I'm looking at this chart, and we're going to make sure you get the chart of how Scott Cohen helps you by hitting text senior assistance. Just text.
I think, Don, you need assistance.
Thank you.
You can text senior assistance to 72727, and we'll send you a sheet of what Scott does and what services he can help you with.
And his information, because we want to make sure you get this information, because you can always call us at 855-DON-GINO. That's 855-DON-GINO. But just text, again, senior assistance to 72727, and we'll make sure you get the information to Scott Cohen, because he's going to go through some of the steps that you help people through.
Yes. Okay. So there is the placement in the skilled nursing facility, the professional placement. It's a $1,500 fee. That's it. Okay. Eventually, I'm looking to be reimbursed by Medicare for it. Okay.
Okay, so hear that. I mean,
Yeah.
$1,500 to basically do all the research that would take you years and years and years to do, and he knows what questions to ask, and he asks those hard questions that you probably wouldn't even know to ask.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, we talked about something real simple earlier. What was that you asked them, and they say, well, what's that? And then you said, thank you, I got to go? You know, they were talking about they don't have a plan for...
Oh, right.
Yeah, what is that? The care plan?
Long-term care insurance. Yeah,
No.
you're talking about the
some
plan?
quality assurance.
Quality
or something.
assurance
Oh,
plan?
right. Well, I will ask a nursing facility in my evaluation process if they have a quality assurance plan. Also, an elopement plan. Some don't even know if someone elopes,
Right.
meaning someone walks out the door.
And gets married?
Yeah, it could be married to the car going down the busy street.
Right.
They get hit by a car. That nursing facility is going to get sued.
Right.
They need to have a plan for that.
So these are all things I would never ask any
Right,
of these
think of
things.
it.
I would just I know, just being ignorant, I would walk in and say, well, it looks clean.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, and you want to know what their rehabilitation process is. So they all have a rehab room. If they don't, then obviously we're not going there, but depending upon the needs of the client.
So
And
that's
then-
one method of it is senior,
Placement.
finding the home is one of the things you do.
Right.
What else?
That's short-term or long-term, if they're long-term Medi-Cal or need long-term nursing. Then after that, it's assisted living, which is kind of like they're going to, some are almost like a Four Seasons.
Yeah,
that
you
I've
were
dealt
saying they were just like amazing resorts, not the
Yeah.
little square box that's in this little nursing home that you see on TV.
Right.
This could be a very nice place for them to live.
Wonderful. Where I'm like, I'd like to vacation here. They're getting 3 meals a day, snacks, anytime they want. Hopefully they're on a meal plan. And they create a long-term care plan. So with the information that I extract from them, from their physician, from perhaps a geriatric care manager, very important individual to include in this process. To me, vital, if you can afford it. Okay?
Right.
Geriatric care managers, wonderful, wonderful, important, incremental component. Then we create the long-term plan, a systemic plan. That's to pay for the assisted living. So where are they financially? Did I do a reverse mortgage earlier in the process?
And real quick, sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off, Scott, but I want to make sure, because you mentioned reverse mortgage a couple times.
Yes.
Just very simple terms. What you're using is the equity that's in your parents' home,
Right.
basically, to afford themselves the ability to have long-term care or to pay for their expenses. Basically, you're using the equity in the home and have no mortgage payment, believe it or not.
Correct.
Well, not only that, Don, but I'm going to bring up the point of reverse mortgages kind of have a bad rap because of how they were maybe 20 years ago.
Right.
But right now they're a phenomenal instrument. They're government backed. They're very safe. And, we see it time and time again. You have someone at home that doesn't have enough money hardly to eat because they're trying to live on Social Security, but their home's paid off.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And I look at that and I say, gosh, that's
But
silly.
they're
know?
concerned about having a mortgage payment again, but you can use that equity in the home and not have a mortgage payment and use that for a lot of different ways, and you know how to protect that money as well.
Correct. My goal is to, number one, protect the estate and to leave whatever legacy they may have, because
Key.
our parents are mainly concerned about that,
They are.
having that legacy, something to hand down.
Well, some are.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, technically now a new MetLife study came out this month. 85% of all seniors in that category are willing to do this, willing to say, you know what, I just need this for myself. They've worked their whole lives. This is theirs. It's not ours.
Right.
Right.
Okay? We shouldn't be this entitled generation that they owe us. They don't owe us. They owe us to raise us, get us to college and off, and we're on our own.
Yeah.
And we need to spread that same mentality to our children too. So I will provide the reverse mortgage. I will provide the placement in the assisted living community. I will also provide the skilled nursing facility and the due diligence that I perform. And by the way, the assisted living placement, I get paid by the community. They pay me. The consumer doesn't have to pay a penny.
And you're helping people. You're helping guide them on stuff that they don't have a clue where to go, how to do it, who to even talk to. I mean, where do you even start? And you can actually cut through all that extra work. I mean,
Absolutely.
we're talking, for somebody to dive into something like this, they'd almost have to take off weeks of work. How much does that cost?
They do. Well, the annual cost for a female is $324,000 for family caregiving. For men, it's $280-something thousand.
Wow.
That's the total cost to take care of your parents.
Wow.
That's because you lose time at work. So being a family caregiver is altruistic and wonderful. And if you can afford to do that, great. Then you need outreach programs, and there are plenty of them out there, which I could relay that information to whoever needs it. Okay, whether it's memory care or just being a caregiver if you want to be a family caregiver. But if you can afford any type of care, then call them. You know.
Yeah, well, Scott, I mean, it sounds like we just barely scratched the surface of this topic. I mean, we definitely have another show to do on it and get more in depth, and probably 3 more shows to do on it.
No doubt.
And I think it's really important because we just don't know what we don't know.
Right.
It's one of those topics we don't know what we don't know. So
yeah, we're just going to have you back to go into more depth. But they can at least reach out and gather up your information, Scott. Scott Cohen with Senior Advisory Services, and text Senior Assistance. Sorry, Gino. Senior Assistance to 72727, or just reach out to 855-DON-GINO, DONGINO. We'll get you Scott's information. Scott, hang out with us because we want you to be here throughout the show. We thank you for the information so far. It's really good. And when we come back, we're going to finish up with Scott Cohen